Hi guys, Paul here from PA Brew News. Got a beer here from the Trails to Ales Brewing Company from Franklin, Pennsylvania. I have some memories about that place. One very specific, nice memory. Wow, it's good times. Anyway, I basically walked into that place and I said, "Give me everything you got in cans," and they did. So they loaded me up with beers, and you've been seeing them now and again on the channel, as of course. And this one is a stout brewed with milk chocolate called Mud Puppy. Milk chocolate stout at 5.5 alcohol, bad volume to Mud Puppy. Got the Mud Puppy. So let's crack this open, pour it in the glass, and see what we have with the Mud Puppy. This is the first stout I did from them. This will be the first one, and then I have a coffee stout after this. Pour that about in there. Up to the light. Murky brown. Dark around the hinges. A rind of ruby hue at the pinnacle of the glass. Let's see. Not really too much stuff sticking. Soft alcohol like sticking. Looks like it's going to be on the thinner side, unfortunately. Nice little ring of a khaki colored head. Maybe pushing ever so slightly to a kind of baker's chocolate, but big bubbles on this one, not those tight creamy bubbles you like to see. But hey, whatever. Maybe it's only 5.5, so maybe it's just going to be a super crushable, tasty little treat. So let's check it out. Cheers. Yep, definitely a lot of roasty toasty tones, a lot of earthiness. You definitely have to bring that baker's chocolate to the table, a hint of a milk chocolate. Mineralistic tones just right in there. A little bit of a nutty coffee, soft nutty coffee. A little bit of something like a nuanced caramel in there, just way in the back too, mixing with those nice roasty toasty grains. Cheers. It doesn't stick around on the palate too long. It's a bit thin. It's got that low side, that kind of tapering to that low side of a medium body. Medium side tapering to the low side of a medium body. There is a soft blanketing effect on the palate of a little bit of a nuanced baker's chocolate and a hint of a milk chocolate too. That's kind of wafting around the palate. Very nice. But you still get a nice little bit of that sharpness, that roasty, toasty tone, a little bit of earthiness, a little bit of that mineralistic quality, still attacking the back of the palate. But then you're just wafting down with that nice little bit of chocolate. So definitely a very nice little treat, very easy drinking. It's not gonna it's not very heavy, you know what I mean? So it's drinkable. Chuck the rest in here and see what happens. Might get a little bit crazy. Might get a little bit thicker. Not sure. We don't know. We are in the not knowings. Cheers. Pretty much the same, but there's a lot of stuff that went into the thing that really murkied this beer up. Now it's like a murky brown. And unfortunately, it's kind of blanketing the palate in a way that's muddling all those nice little flavors that we're balancing it and making it drinkable. So, it went from a beer I like to a beer I'm not too happy about. It's that quickly. Unfortunately, if I would have known that, I would have poured basically the whole thing into this and left what was in the rest of it in the can. Because now it's just kind of like a mess. A little bit of a ugh. It's still not bad. It's just everything's blanketed now, kind of like super nuanced, and even the sweetness is gone, which I'm call me crazy, but this added sedimentation and stuff is even taking that nice nuanced blanket of sweetness away. I don't even taste the sweetness too much. It's kind of just, you know, wafting over the palate. So, excuse me. Life lesson. At first, I thought it was a very solid, approachable beer. Obviously, if you're getting this on draft, excuse me, if you're getting this on draft, you're gonna have no problem getting the can. If you see this later, try to just decant everything you can into the glass and leave the sedimentation in the can, because honestly, the sedimentation did do it quite a large disservice. I was gonna give 7.58 that category for the rest of it, but now it's in that 4 or 5 thing. Yeah, it's just meh. You know what I mean? So, but even though I had my apprehensions, I was thoroughly enjoying this beer before I poured the rest in and got this big sedimentation kind of just wafting over everything. So I was really actually enjoying this. I was very, very happy with this beer. So I guess that's my fault. I don't know. I mean, it doesn't say anything about, you know, sedimentation in the thing. It was blah blah blah. But the Mud Puppy before the sedimentation was actually a very nice little beer. I'm not even gonna play that down at all. I'm just not a big fan of what's here now. It's still not bad. Still that kind of here or there, 5 out of 10. Not a bad beer, not a good beer, just there. It's drinkable. It's not a problem. It's not offensive. You can get through this. But there was just so much more dynamic to the beer before that sedimentation went in there, because everything kind of just muddled it up. That's one thing about a lot of these beers that are coming out now. If you don't have a vibrancy to your beer, where every single layer is dynamic and bombastic, but yet segregated, so you can tell each one. If you throw a bunch of haze for days on there or sedimentation, all that's going to go, and it's just going to be one almost kind of nuanced flavor, and it's going to be boring. And that's the thing is, a lot of these New England style IPAs, these haze for days bombs and stuff like that, if they're not done right and those hops aren't boom and punch you in the face, you just get bland. You just get a bland, nuanced citrus flavor. You get this, you get that, and that's that subtle art of brewing, if you know what I mean. Now, because this is in a can, and they can't foresee what's going on because this is coming off taps that's usually getting served directly. Obviously, there was a lot of sedimentation within this beer. It's settled. Pouring it out, spot on. Mixing all this stuff up, dumping it back in, you know what I mean, was one of those things where, unfortunately, I wish that didn't happen. If I go back to the brewery and I see a can of Mud Puppy, I'm going to get that can, and I'm going to decant that can and set that batch to the side, and hopefully whatever is going to come out is going to be coming out what happened the first time, because actually that was a pretty damn good beer. That was a damn good little milk stout. I like the fact that it looks so thin, it looks so unassuming, it looked all those things, but yet at the same time it had a vibrancy of that nice little caking effect, like cake batter almost. It had those nuances, even though it was a light beer, it had a lot of things I like on it. But this, unfortunately, just blankets everything and makes it much, much. So, I'm going to still say that this was still a 7.5. It was really actually a nice little beer. So, don't take my boo-boo as a default against the beer. Just use caution. If you're going to have this in a can, and pour it out. You can either chill it, which would probably be a good idea. Chill it, make sure it's all settled down, which chilling usually helps break up that sedimentation and actually let it settle. And then you can warm it up, pour it out, doodly-doo, have a nice little beer. So that's my advice to you. And every beer, every video is a learning experience for you, for me, for everybody. You know what I mean? Learning how stupid I am. One of those kind of deals. So this has been Paul from PABrewNews, and I'm just going to give it a 7.5. Yeah, 7.5 overall for the Mud Puppy. This has been Paul from PABrewNews. Cheers.